Hi, this is Don Cowboy Biker Adventures. Today I have for you a museum in Key West. Let me show you. This is Key West Shipwreck Treasure and Museum. So let's go in and explore. It's about $19 to get in, but since I rode the train, it was only $17.
It was a cry heard in Key West as fierce and exultant as the sound of trumpets. Through the whole town it echoed and re-echoed from one home to another. Wreck ashore! From one throat to another, flying on the wind it seemed, clear across the Key, from the Gulf of Mexico to the Atlantic Ocean.
Wreck ashore! Wreck ashore! Father, wreck ashore!
Happy! Who covered? I don't know. What? It sounds to me like... Wreck ashore! For this was a race as well as a rescue, since the first captain to reach the shipwreck became the wrecking master, who would direct the operations, call upon the other wrecking schooners only if needed, and claim a greater share of the salvage. However, the wreckers of Key West did not always stay home to await the storm. They had reefs to watch far from Key West. Imagine this long stretch of reef, with wreckers stationed at regular intervals along its concourse, surveying daily 150 miles from Key Biscayne to the Tortugas. In the many years that wrecking was king, the year 1856 was to bring the richest rewards. In today's dollars, the awards in 1856 represented almost $7 million to be divided among the 2,840 citizens living in Key West. On August 5th, 1856, the American merchant ship Isaac Allerton left New York bound for New Orleans. She was a 594-ton square-rigged packet ship, 137 feet in length and 40 feet wide. In her holds was a general cargo of household goods for the frontier, as well as the marble floors, capitals, and lintels bound for the ongoing construction of the New Orleans Customs House. The cargo was valued at $400,000. Just off the Saddle Bunch Keys on the moonless night of August 28th, she was struck by a savage hurricane. Driven across the reef, she began to take on water. The ship rode anchor for several hours before the lines were cut, and the ship grounded over Washerwoman Shoals, lost her rudder, and sank to the bottom in 5 fathoms of water in Hawks Channel. The Isaac Allerton became the largest individual award in the history of Key West wrecking. The recovery of the cargo from the wreck was never completed because getting into the lower decks was all but impossible. Yet the awards made by the courts in 1856 for the partial recovery of the Allerton's cargo were the richest ever recorded in Key West. This cargo brought the wreckers of Key West over $52,000, over $835,000 in today's dollars. But the amazing story of the Isaac Allerton was not over. In 1985, a small group of Key West treasure hunters made a remarkable discovery in Hawks Channel.
We made a hit on our magnetometer that found the Isaac Allerton. We dove on it, and it was various stakes sticking up out of the ground, and a lot of bottles were on the surface, and we knew we had a wreck. You could see the outline of it. We went through the records of the old wreckers, and lo and behold, we found the Isaac Allerton. And to our surprise, my partner Ray and Steve Maloney's 5th grade grandfather was a lawyer that had handled one of the wreckers that had worked on the wreck. Some of their ancestors on their mother's side were also wreckers that worked the wreck. And some of my wife's family were wreckers that worked the wreck. And that's the thrill of this ship, is we realize every time we touch something on the bottom of that ocean, one of our ancestors missed it.
Over the years, the salvage team has used airlifts to move tons of mud in the murky waters of Hawks Channel, carefully bringing to us a historic moment of life in Key West and the American sea trade. Their find has become a time machine, transporting you and the people of Key West back into their history. The cargo bearing witness to the age of the wreckers. In 1856, Asa Tipp stored the cargo of the Isaac Allerton on this very property. And Asa Tipp's attorney for the Allerton salvage was Walter C. Maloney, the great-great-great-grandfather of Ray Maloney, the man who rediscovered the shipwreck in 1985.
As people go through this museum and look at the artifacts, I want you to think back of the time when the salvaging was going on and think of the thrill of hearing that wreck ashore and the pulsation that went through this community and the throbbing of the hearts of the wreckers as they ran to the ships and the worry of the wives and the grandfathers and grandmothers that were left behind, the worry if their loved ones would come back. And if you can do that and you can think and feel that era, you'll see the true treasure of the Isaac Allerton is what made the spirit of Key West grow and be here today for you to enjoy.
Well, you're seeing it when I see it, so I know nothing about it other than what we just heard.
Hello, welcome to the Shipwreck Museum.
Hey,
How are you today?
good, how are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. My name is Ishmael. If you have any questions at all, feel free to ask, or if you want to hear any of the stories of these shipwrecks, it would be my pleasure to tell you about.
Sure, tell me about them.
I'll tell you about the one that you're ran firm then. It's called the El Cazador, the Hunter, also known as the shipwreck that changed the world, because it did. She's a Spanish brig of war that sank in 1784, secretly loaded with 450,000 of those coins, going from Mexico to Spanish Louisiana to back up some paper currency that had no value. The ship never made it. Spain needed money, so they sold Louisiana to France, and 3 years after that, Napoleon gave us a deal that we just couldn't refuse, the Louisiana Purchase. If you like fishing stories, this one has one of those too. In 1993, there's a guy trolling his lines 50 miles off New Orleans, 300 feet of water. When his nets hit a snag, he finally frees him and out drops a 45-pound boulder of nothing but silver coin.
Wow.
You can see a picture of it right there in that frame, that cluster. That's what the fisherman found by mistake. Now get this, he was fishing on a boat called the Mistake. Yeah, that's right. So it's literally the shipwreck found by mistake, ended up being the shipwreck that changed the world.
Wow.
And I learned something while I was a treasure salesman from Mel Fisher's that I'm willing to share with you. If you look at the center of one of those larger coins, you see that there's a nice print of a shield and 2 pillars and a ribbon going around these pillars. Well, if you remove the shield from the center of that coin and you put those 2 pillars next to each other, that's our dollar sign. That's where we get it from. We were using these Spanish pieces of 8 in America until 1857 as currency. Hello folks, welcome to the Shipwreck Museum. My name's Ishmael. Any questions at all, feel free to ask. If you want to hear any of the stories, it would be my pleasure to tell you.
Well, what do y'all think, folks?
Now that one right there, that's our most local wreck out of these 3. That stretches over 80 miles up the Keys, 1733, 22 ships leaving Havana going back to Spain to counter a hurricane, when 19 of the 22 ships sank. 6 still lost at sea. Well, Spain wasn't about to donate that treasure to Davy Jones, so they went back, dragged, dove, dredged, and recovered more than what was manifested from that log, which means there was a lot of smuggled goods on board that ship.
Gotcha.
If you want to get a feel for history, that silver bar over there has been on the ocean floor for over 300 years.
It's been what now? It's been what? Over 300 years?
Over 300 years in the ocean.
In the ocean.
And they think it's cursed.
Oh. So
They don't think it's cursed because it sank once or twice. It's because that treasure sank 4 separate times.
So don't touch
It
it.
was on the bottom of the ocean. But don't worry about that curse. It hasn't sank in a ship since it's been here.
Yep. That's the story of the cursed treasure. Interesting. Just give you another look. Underwater for 300 years. That's interesting. Let me give you a look around here. Lift that tusk.
See those emeralds in the case you're at now?
Yes, what are they?
Those are gold infused smuggled emeralds. Now that doesn't happen naturally in nature. The only way you're going to get a gold infused emerald is if you roll around on the ocean floor with a shipwreck that had gold coins on board. That's the only way that's possible.
Oh, okay.
It's unique in itself. And gold shines forever. If you drop a gold coin in the ocean 300 years later, it's going to shine like a day one in. If you look to the right of those emeralds, that's what happens to silver coins after a while in the ocean. Electrolysis occurs, they start getting destroyed.
Wow, interesting.
And all this decoration here is to put you in the feel of what an auction house would be like in the 1850s in the glory days of wrecking. Different things you'd be able to buy from a shipwreck in Key West, like tobacco from the Carolines, elephant tusk from Africa, cotton from Georgia, and every once in a while, fingers crossed, you get a big ticket item like a piano. And all this is decoration except for that piano. That's an authentic shipwreck piano from 1882.
And it was in the water?
No. That's what they knew about Key West. Not only is priority one to save the people, but another priority is if you can save the entire ship itself, that's really what you're going for, because that gets included into the value of your wreckage.
Gotcha. So upstairs, is there another level like this?
Yes. The artifacts from the Isaac Gallatin continue upstairs with household items that were getting sent up to the Mississippi.
Is there somebody
River.
up there to tell us about it? Okay.
It's a self-guided tour.
Self-guided tour. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Let's go check this out.
Looking for an exit?
Yeah.
Right through that gate right there.
Perfect. See you later.
There you go. Explosive device.
Yeah, that's an underwater explosive device. Ain't that something?
Huh.
No, we're in the
But before we could get into the wrecking period and have a wreck port, we had to get rid of pirates first, and that's what that little section right there is about. You know, it took us 2 years to do so with the assistance of Commodore Porter and his anti-piracy squad.
Took 2 years to get rid of the pirates.
That's right. First thing we did once we became part of the U.S. territory in 1822 was establish a naval base down here in 1823. It only took them 2 years. By 1825, no more pirates in the West Indies. They all got pushed to the Indian Ocean. Commodore Porter's captured over 70 pirates in just those 2 years, especially with the assistance of that first steam engine warship, the USS Seagull. Huge tactical advantage to be able to turn your wheel and boat goes where you want it to go over sail ships.
That's neat.
But then once that happened, by 1828, we started our first wrecking corps. The game was on. Made a lot of good money in this wrecking industry.
This is off one of the shipwrecks, the riggings.
And that's how they did all their heavy lifting, even 250 years before the ship sank. Deck winches, lock and tackle, purchase, all the way.
And before the metal, it was wood. I remember seeing on the ridge, at Plymouth Rock.
I love that copper sheathing too. You know, now we use paint for the bottom, but you figured that out. To know that if you wrap copper around the bottom of your ship, it's going to prevent things.
Uh-huh.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, on the Mayflower 2,
Really?
it's all wood. You can see how they would use wood to get a mechanical advantage to lift the cargo. Thank you for everything.
Welcome to the Shipwreck Museum.
Okay, let's keep going up.
I'm a captain. Alright.
Nice. I'm also a captain.
Nice. What kind of boat you driving?
All right, let's go. Last lookout tour. So we're gonna come back to that. Let's go this way first. Trying to look for a date. Well, there's the scales, but I'm not seeing the date right offhand. Maybe y'all spotted it. There you go.
Shotguns, hammers, claws, hurricanes,
Almonds and Brazil nuts.
goods transshipped in Bedford from sailing ships that plied the Far Eastern trade routes. Boxes of spices bring a damp, rusty area with their pungent, exotic
There you go. Let's check this out.
Here, the women of Key West pressed closer. These were the things that might be bought for their homes and families.
The chief business of the town consisted in fitting out and storing the wreckers, and all the people were devoted to nothing else. Everything revolved about that business, and everyone was either an owner of a wrecker, or a captain, or a mate, or a sailor on one, or some female relation of these. 1876 novel, The Young Wreckers. You will naturally inquire how we live, and the reply is very simple. By and through wrecks. If we are not directly interested in the business, our support wholly comes from it. Stop that, and we cease to live.
When a wrecker brought in salvaged cargo, and a damaged vessel as well, he was met at the dock by local merchants. They negotiated as to whose warehouse the cargo would be consigned until an auction took place. With an average of one wreck a week, the auctions provided townspeople with entertainment, as well as much of their food and supplies.
You hear
What a
that?
heyday.
One a week.
All of Key West
That is why Key West exists.
Speculators, wreckers,
Shipwrecks.
merchants, lawyers, and marshals. Checkers, collectors, chandlers, fishermen, shipwreck passengers, and stevedores, ladies in blue hats with servants, men in long coats and shoes from all sizes. The auctioneer would mount a hogshead with a kingly air and fires swinging close.
Crude instruments, what they used to sell back.
Lumber, kegs of rum, molasses, beer.
Replica, the house built between 1857 and 1865. I do like the porches. Wish we still had them. They do have a great function even today. Miss Thomas Curry. But they have something, William Curry's sons. This must be something to do with Curry Hammock State Park down here, I'll bet you.
These were the things that might be bought for their homes and families.
Here's a picture from June 30, 1838. Key West. Mad Dog, powder charges, birdshot, Wishbone. Porcelain. Another picture. Wrecking schooner, huh? Key West. Wreck of the SS Central America.
until he's certain she's gone hard ashore. Then he makes his plan. Now, you know, the rules of
Interesting, huh?
the first captain to reach a grounded vessel is the master and gets a bigger share. But the squire, he's stuck up on the captain. If he lets us know, we'd all rush out of church and surely beat him to the left. So says he. Brothers and sisters, let us get to the meat of the coconut. In your Bibles, turn to our text for today. The 9th chapter, 1 Corinthians 24th verse. I remember it well. Don't think I'll ever forget it. Know ye not that they which run in a race run all, but one receiveth the prize? So run that ye may obtain.
It's good.
With one eye on it.
Yep.
Warming to the subject, he comes right down off the pulpit and tells us to prepare ourselves for the great race, for the prize of eternal salvation.
Alright, this video's getting long. So let's go up to the tower. What's this?
When he reaches the back door, he turns and yells, "Back to shore! Now we will all run a race and see who receiveth the prize." With that, he's out the door, leaving us all there trying to get out the door behind him. Talk about too many fish in a barrel. The folks flapping around that church and yelling and trying not to step on the
Interesting.
kids. We were right at his heels, but blatantly we didn't think they went first. That squire's a rascal sure enough. Now Mr. Tripp has us up on the lookout even on the side.
Alright. I don't think I got this while ago, really. That's awful dark. Judge William Morgan. Alright, let's go to the lookout tower. This should give us a good look of Key West. So here we go. I think it's 65 feet up in the air. Gotta go higher. Y'all done. Parasailing. All right. I'll give you a 360 degree view.
Is there? Are you seeing these Kino sandals?
Oh, yes.
This is the Gulf of Mexico. They're parasailing out there. Remember, there's over 800 keys. And over there Atlantic Ocean.
It's in that direction, but I don't see it.
So if you like the video, please give me a thumbs up. If you want to see adventure videos at least once a week and shorts on weekends, be sure to subscribe. So until next time, have a good one.